Howdy, folks. This is episode 6 of Financial Planning for High Earners. 1 through 5 covered mostly fundamentals. I believe you have to have some context before you can actually talk about planning. And I'll open this with some context around the assumptions. I was thinking I'd do the assumptions last, but I think it won't make any sense without the assumptions. We're talking about a 2-income family, age 40, $400,000 total income. Just to keep it simple, $200,000 per person. 2 children, ages 5 and 10. 26% effective tax rate, $800,000 home, 2% property tax rate. Purchase price was $700,000 with 20% down, so $560,000 mortgage. At current mortgage rates, 6.5%. Now, for purposes of this, I assume the home was purchased in 2020, which means you probably would be at 2.125% or 2.5% or something. But you can't buy a house like that anymore, at least at those rates, at least not now. And by the way, that was a historical low. Our current rates are on a historical average, so it seems fair to me. The total resulting spending, or what I modeled out here, $16,900. That's $12,000 a month for all living expenses, $35,039 a month for that mortgage. That's $42,400 for the year, and $16,000 worth of real estate taxes. So all in spending is $202,468. I assume that both parties are maxing in a 401k plan and get a 4% match. That's $45,000 a year in 401k savings, at least for 2023. I assume they had a $50,000 joint taxable account, $400,000 in retirement plans. That's $200,000 each. Just to get to the core numbers, I didn't assume that there was any other savings other than into those 401k plans. And then I assumed that the 5-year-old had a $10,000 529 plan and the 10-year-old had $15,000, and again, with no ongoing savings. When you run the math like this, modeling taxation, knowing that everybody's tax situation is a little different, you get free cash flow for this couple of about $50,000 a year. Now, let's look at the calculated goals. Presuming that you had a $30,000 annual college expense and you wanted to do 4 years worth, that 5-year-old needs about $11,500 a year to fully fund, on a median investment result basis, the 529 plan. That is to essentially save enough to cover 4 years worth of college at $120,000 a cost in today's dollars. The 10-year-old needs about $1,205 a month or $14,500 a year. The reason I start with education is because that's where most people that I talk to, that's where they start. They want to make sure their children don't have massive college debt or any college debt at all. That's typically their goal. So let's talk about your own personal financial freedom. Ideally, to quit working at age 60, you're talking about saving $95,400 a year. Well, you can already see the problem. 26K for college for 2 children, $95K on your own savings, and you've got $50,000 worth of capacity. An alternative is to work to age 64. By the way, if you save $45,000 a year towards your own financial freedom, that gets you to age 60 with a 51% probability of being successful. Now, why do I talk about probability? There's always a range of outcomes. We have no idea what investment results are going to be between now and the day you decide to walk out the door, and certainly over the next 60 years. And oh, by the way, we model your ages to 100 because statistically that's the only thing that makes sense for us given longevity these days. There are other things in your financial planning. Assuming you don't change any spending going forward and you die tomorrow, you need about $8 million worth of life insurance on each party. Again, under the same assumptions. And this assumes you have no life insurance at all, no group insurance, no nothing. None of that is valid, but I mean, it's a way of getting to the bottom line. If you look at what happens if you're sick or injured, you can't work, that is, you become disabled, you're talking about $20,000 a month of total disability coverage needed for each party as well. There's another conversation about, being needing long-term care, which I will leave to a later date. So fundamentally, that's a baseline financial plan for a $400,000 a year couple with a pretty straightforward situation. Other things that should be covered in your financial planning, which we've covered before, are your estate plan, having a cash reserve, and for nearly every other family that we talk to, there are other things, but this is the baseline. Would love to hear your feedback, anything you'd like us to cover. The next one of these that I'm going to do is going to cover a situation where the parties are self-employed and not W-2 compensated corporate employees. I hope this finds you well. Bye-bye.